Well, class, I just wanted to talk to you about this assignment. Now, there's nothing new that you have that this lab is bringing to the table. It's basically more applying what you've learned, basically. And again, we're thinking about your 3D materials as a tile set. If we look at, and this is something that, like when I worked on Marvel Alliance, we had a tile set to build basically rooms. We had like literally a room tool in 3ds Max, which I drew out rooms and connected them to build out things. And we used that tool to our advantage to help build out our scenes quickly for the levels that we built. So again, we're thinking in terms of the three tiles that you've been given a document from Epic Games. It's old, but it's still very good. It lays out like what you need to think about in terms of what you need for a tile set, and there's a quiz related to that. But the big thing is that like you want to like set a standard size for what you're doing. Let's go through, and again, basically you're going to be building this scene out. There's and what the way that I looked at this, that basically there's two levels. I saw there was this lower level, this is upper level here. Basically, I saw this is a column. This was a double wide piece essentially, and I broke it down to basically five pieces. Now, here's piece number one, which is this column right here. Now, for the sake of argument for right now, we're going to say that these column pieces, we're going to build them separately. So there'll be things that will connect into our walls, so we don't have to worry about them right now. So that gives us the advantage of, hey, this is flat. We can actually cut out the back half of these wall pieces for if we need to for optimization purposes. But moving on, but that means that this is basically going to be like we were starting in 3ds Max. Let's just say that the width, let's say we'll go 200 as my width. We'll go 50 wide and a height of 200. We'll go 300. And then we can put that at 0, 0, 0. There we go. So we can set that at 0. And we can say, hey, this is going to be basically piece 1. And we can actually, again, we can go and drag, and this will be piece 02. And then we can start like saying, okay, let's look at that next piece, which is well, actually we'll do the door, which is, we go back, the door is this piece right here, which we've labeled number 3. We'll do the door, because essentially what we can then do is be like, hey, we'll go in and be like, hey, there's 3 width segments. And we can add in one height, 3 height segment of 2. And then, hey, we can now look at that and be like, oh, well, we can make this into an editable mesh now. And all I need to do is extrude that in, let's say negative 10. And there we go, I've got my doorway. Again, I do have 2 faces down here, so it's a matter of, I can go and delete these out. And there we go, here is piece number 3. And then we can go, again, grab the original piece. This is going to be our prototype piece. This is going to, again, be piece 02 in this case. And in our case, we're going to go in, we're basically going to say, hey, this is a, going to be width segments of 7. We're going to go with 3 height segments. And there I can go in, and I can literally, again, I can go in to make this an editable mesh. I can select these pieces. And we can extrude them. Again, we'll do negative 10. And there we go. I've got my windows. And I'm looking right now in this, I set this as 200 wide, 300. I might actually, if I wanted to, let's go to look at, go back to here. Let's again, let's say I want to make this wider, say 400. I can go to these meshes, and I can literally go to the scale tool. I can actually right click in here. There we go. I can bring up, so if I right click here, I can do an absolute local. Our purpose is we want the X basically to be 200. Close. I can click on this one, do the same here, and give it an absolute of 200. So now I've got these pieces right here. Again, I can go in, make it an elbow poly, bring it back to elbow mesh. It should be okay now. But the idea here is like, hey, I can go in. I've got the doorway here. I mean, this one of the things I can do is I can go off of this one right here. I can make a copy of that. Here's piece 4. I'm going to bring this forward, actually. And one of the things that you can do, and I'm going to select these for one moment. I can right click and I can do hide selection. So I can just hide them. I'll select this one right here. This is because I don't want to deal with multiple meshes. I can go to the vertices, and I can play with the vertices here to make again. I want this default shading. No, I want facets. But I'm going to grab all of these vertices, and they're right now they're at 150. I'll make this, let's say, 225. Is that big enough? No, let's just do 100. There we go. And then I can take these points right here. So this is at negative 66. I'll take this and make this negative 150. That might be too big. We'll do 125. And then these will be ultimately 125s. And now I've got that, it's actually garage door type piece now. And again, I've already gone through this already. Let's go back, let's make piece number 5. And I'm going to hide hide selection. Again, we will unhide all these. And so now what I'm going to do right in this case is I'm actually going to select that face one more time. And we know if we look at the image is that basically these come in and then come in an angle. Basically, if we get like a let me go and actually build it at this point. So I'll extrude again another negative 10. I'll go in and I'm going to delete these because I don't need those. I can then grab you. I'm going to scale it. Use the X scaling, and we can bring them in. I can bring this back a little bit further. In this case, this is the Y is at 102, so we'll say 130. And I need to, I'm in world coordinates, hold on. Let's go back to the object itself. Let's set this at 0. There we go. Now numbers will start make sense. So we can now go back select that face. So it's at 14. Let's go negative 50. And I've gone through the back wall. So let's bring this in. There we go. So let's say negative 19. And there we go. I mean, it's on its way to being there. Again, I do have this. You know, we can always move the points in, play with this. We can always make this deeper. But this is on its way to being that structural piece that we saw. And you know, and this is the idea here is that, you know, basically now that I've got this, I can now unhide all, and then we can go through each of these now. Ooh, I don't want to go back to this mode again. So let's just say this is, we'll spread these out. Negative 200. Negative 500. Do a negative 1,000. There we go. So I can spread these out 200 units apart just for the sake of having them. All right, 100. 200, 400, 600. Actually, can do 750. Do 500. There we go. So 250 apart. And there we go. We've got the first 5 pieces. And then basically, again, the idea now is now we got the pieces, we can now go in, we can build materials for them. There is piece 2A, 2B. Basically, ultimately, I mean, these would be a multi-sub object. This is a multi-sub object. This is a multi-sub object that you can build out. And again, you would basically you'll start with one material for all this brick. And then you do a material for A, for B. Now, these are most likely going to be their lighting changes, but for our purposes, for what we're doing, we're going to say that these are two different mirror types, glass types. We go down this piece right down here. I know it looks like it's bordered down there. Just play it as if these you know, this is the same piece down across everything. And then finally, you've got the garage door, this piece up here, for whatever that is, and a door piece right here. You're free to go grab things off the internet. This one's going to be the hardest in terms of detail. Just do your best. This is not about it being perfect. It's about getting ideas across. You know, this is going to be an entrance. You know, and I basically have gone in, and I should have actually gone in. And scaled it to 400 to be a double wide piece. All right. So the purposes this week is to basically get them into. So have a file or have multiple files for your pieces. Have them again. I'm not going to go through the material process. That's something you'll be able to do. It's a practice on doing materials. And being consistent with materials, but basically go through, build out the building. Again, after you've textured them, go out and actually build the building as shown. You know, using these pieces. Make that a separate file. All right, because you're not going to import that file. That's actually one of the mistakes that several people do. Is they try and import the whole building with all the pieces. No, that's not correct. What you want is import each of these pieces into the engine, of choice, with the material of choice. So for our purposes right now, I mean, we're basically you're going to build out these pieces, and should be. I mean, if you submitted one file, after you've done materials on them, that would be one file, and then the building itself would be another. If you want to build out, like, again, things are in the scene. I do ask you to build this lamppost, this this traffic light. Don't worry about the signs. You can do them if you want. And there's a trash can here. Trash can should be easy. It's going to be a cylinder, pretty much. If you do, that's pretty much it. If you want, you can build out tile pieces for the roadway, and the walkway. So that's the things to consider for extra credit what you going forward. Don't worry about anything like this organic tree, this building right here. Don't worry about it. It's a separate building. We're only concerned about this building right here. Street trade piece interaction. Raised ward curb, walkway with curb, raised walkway. And again, this is still a small tile set. Even like this can build buildings, and it's going to build small buildings. Like there's things such as like, hey, these, maybe you build a piece that is the trim at the top. Maybe there's another style. And there's multiple ways to do this assignment. So I just want you to take that in consideration. There are multiple ways to do this assignment. I'm going to go and I'm going to save this. Lab 7. We're going to... I'm going to just save this here for right now. Building. So next time you see these pieces, I will have a texture on them, so they'll be ready to be bring into into Unreal or Unity, or both in some cases. All right, I just want to basically talk about, hey, be consistent. Like again, let's again make your vertices need to be lined up. Like check the vertices. Like that should be, it's at 200. That one down here is at negative 200. So they are lining up. So just make sure that they are, that these values are precise. We want a 300 size up here, So because they're ultimately they are going to line up in the editor. So that's something to think about and to be concerned about as you go forward. All right. Good luck with the assignment. This is again, take your time on this, because once you built out these pieces, you're gonna, our next assignment is to bring them into the editor. We'll be talking about the pipelines. Is the next step. So